Coming up tonight, 2 F&B operators will be charged and more diners are caught flouting rules ahead of the festive season.
Dengue killed more people in Singapore last year than COVID-19, and it's the highest number of deaths on record.
And trending all week, the Reddit stock frenzy that shook Wall Street. We'll explain what happened. This is the Straits Times Newsnight. I'm Chao Suen.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Dylan Ang. We begin with the latest in penalties for F&B operators who flouted safe management measures. 2 F&B operators are to be charged next Tuesday for allegedly breaching safe management measures.
The first, Mark Enterprise, which runs Try Again at Circular Road, allegedly continued operations on July 18th, despite having been issued an order to close for multiple breaches. The other, Kim's Place Seafood, allegedly allowed gatherings of more than 5 people, split across multiple tables. It had also allowed karaoke activities on its premises in September.
Separately, 4 other F&B outlets were ordered to close. They are Xiao Yao Ke in Jurong East, Main Entrance at Sago Street, Killarney Kopitiam in Lucky Plaza, and Tian Ya Hai Jiao KTV at Aliwal Street. Another 6 outlets and 27 individuals were fined.
A further 104 people have also been fined for flouting COVID-19 rules in parks and beaches last weekend. They included those gathering in groups larger than 8 and intermingling.
Agencies like NParks and URA have stepped up enforcement inspections recently and will continue to do so this weekend and during the Chinese New Year festive period.
Still reeling from the news on the 16-year-old self-radicalized boy who had planned attacks on 2 mosques in Singapore, religious groups are taking steps to encourage interfaith harmony. During Friday prayers today, mosque imams throughout Singapore delivered a sermon titled "The Importance of Being Just," reflecting on the incident. Before the main sermon, a pre-sermon was also delivered to congregants at the 2 mosques which had been targeted. At all mosques today, imams called for congregants to remain calm and cautioned against countering hatred with hatred. The sermon stressed that the act of an individual does not represent a group. Above all, it spoke of the dangers faced by youths, particularly online and on social media, calling on followers to not be complacent in monitoring their development.
In a special address at the World Economic Forum Davos agenda this afternoon, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong stressed that countries need to strengthen cooperation, which is essential in tackling the global pandemic.
He said he hopes that the vaccine rollout will allow restrictions to be lifted and economies to rebound as the crisis enters a new phase.
The pandemic has exposed businesses and jobs which are not going to remain viable. They have to be let go to allow new growth and better jobs to be created in their place. Hard decisions have to be made, and this will exacerbate existing stresses. Governments will come under more pressure to adopt protectionist and nativist positions. To resume growth, we must look beyond returning to the status quo ante. We must look ahead. Within countries, governments and businesses must collaborate to tap new markets and develop novel technologies. Externally, countries need to strengthen the framework for international cooperation.
In other news, a total of 32 people died from dengue in 2020, the highest count since the 25 in 2005. With 32 deaths, dengue killed more people last year than COVID-19, which has claimed 29 lives. 35,315 people were diagnosed with dengue last year, more than double the infections in 2019, and 60% above the previous high of 22,170 in 2013.
Now, for the 7th straight day, no new COVID-19 cases were reported in the community. There were 24 new infections, though, all imported.
Over in Malaysia, there were a record 5,725 new infections today, the highest daily increase since the start of the pandemic a year ago. The current curbs on movement in the country, imposed in most states, are in place until February 4th.
Now let's take a look at what's been trending on social media today. After concerns arose regarding WhatsApp's privacy policy earlier this month, other messaging apps have seen a steep increase in users. But if you're anything like me and haven't jumped ship because you're too sentimental to leave all those years of chat history behind? Now here's the push you might have needed.
With millions of new users flocking onto its platform, Telegram announced that you can now import your chat history from applications such as WhatsApp and Line. Announced yesterday, it said that everyone can bring their chat history, including videos and documents, to Telegram from apps like WhatsApp, Line and KakaoTalk. This works both for individual chats and groups. Check out their website for more info on how.
Wall Street was truly rattled this week. If you've spent any time online at all, you might have heard of the Reddit versus Wall Street saga, a social media movement that has had major real-life implications, including an upcoming series of Senate hearings and potentially billions of dollars in losses for hedge funds. Now confused? Trust me, all these stock market shenanigans are blowing my mind too. So here's a simple explainer on what is actually going on. One of the stocks, GameStop, is a struggling chain of American video game stores, whose share price had been hammered, but instead, due to some social media hocus pocus, has since skyrocketed. Led by a group called Wall Street Bets on Reddit, amateur traders coordinated their efforts and started snapping up GameStop, driving hedge fund managers and the Wall Street elite who had bet on the stock to fall into panic mode. And the story is far from over. Watch this space for more on this story and what's trending online.
Now, it's no secret that we are generally used to hearing the term First Lady being used, but what about Second Gentleman? Time to familiarize yourself with the term, as Merriam-Webster has officially added Second Gentleman to describe the role of US Vice President Kamala Harris's husband. Mr. Doug Emhoff, VP Harris's husband since 2014, now holds the official title, defined by the dictionary as the husband or male partner of a vice president or second in command of a country or jurisdiction. He acknowledged the inclusion on Twitter and went on to say, "I might be the first, but I won't be the last." An entertainment lawyer, he had severed all ties with his law firm on Inauguration Day and will now begin teaching an entertainment law class at Georgetown University as a professor.
Now here's something for all you Star Wars fans this weekend. Darth Vader's costume, Princess Leia's famous bikini, and Stormtrooper outfits are among the props on display at a Star Wars exhibition which opens at the Art Science Museum tomorrow.
It will be the last chance for fans to see some 200 artifacts in the flesh before they return to the Lucasfilm archives. Singapore is the last stop for the show, which has been travelling the world since 2012. In fact, the artifacts arrived on our shores last February for a May opening and have been in cold storage since the pandemic. What are you waiting for? The exhibition will run till June 13th and admission is $25 for Singapore residents, with Singapore Rediscover vouchers also allowed.
And before we go, the first ever parliamentary motion to address climate change has been filed, and there's even a video to go along with it.
It's existential. Even if we have the best economy, best jobs, best healthcare, best schools, all that will come to nothing if we don't have a healthy planet to live in.
After a year-long public consultation, several MPs, including Chairman of GPC for Sustainability and the Environment, Louis Ng, have filed the private members' motion for the Parliament sitting on Monday, February 1st. The video calls on the government, in partnership with the private sector and the people of Singapore, to push efforts to mitigate and adapt to climate change.
That wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.